to dinner, it was 1967. He was a friend of my grandpa who was still living at that time. My mother had us all dressed up, had us on our best behavior. My sister wore a dress and I wore a clip-on tie. He drove up in a limo, a Lincoln Continental, accompanied by Mormons with white gloves on their hands. He was wearing only sheets, wrapped up like a mummy, and they carried him inside to avoid all dirt and sand. Daddy said, listen children, it's important not to touch him, and when you speak directly to him, speak as loudly as you can. Oh, he's just a bit peculiar, this old friend of your grandpa. He's the richest man alive, and he brought his own bedpan. After they unwrapped him and gave him some Kleenex, which he held up to his face to protect his nose and throat. Oh, we finally got to see him, and he looked like in the Bible when Moses wandered in the desert, and he smelled like a goat. Before we sat down at the table, Mr. Hughes had his Mormons check the chair for germs and pull the shades down low. Mama made him a plate of only well-done steak and exactly 7 peas all lined up in a row. He told us funny stories about the world's biggest airplane, and he didn't believe in taxes, said Lyndon Johnson could kiss his ass. And Grandpa offered up a toast to old times in the oil fields. Before Howard took a sip, he had the Mormons check his glass. Back in the day, Mr. Hughes made lots of movies of the bosoms of starlets, and he patented a bra. And he dated Katharine Hepburn, but it was hard to imagine this man who sat before us with his nails 4 inches long. When dinner was over and he told all his stories, he said he must be going, and thanks for being so kind. And they wrapped him up and took him out to his limo, and I asked my mom, would it be okay if I took off my tie? Now it's all these years later, and Grandpa's dead and buried, and my parents got remarried after their divorce. I was talking with my sister, and I asked if she remembered when Howard Hughes came to dinner. She replied, of course. But the question that's burning, the one that keeps on turning, the one I thought to ask her before one of us dies, is what if that was it, the most interesting dinner that I will ever have, now 40 years gone by. She said, there's one thing to remember, to Grandpa it was nothing, just a friend over for dinner, it happens all the time. Oh, every night is special, it's what our lives are made of. Line your peas up in a row and wear a clip-on tie. Howard Hughes came to dinner back in 1967, and I mentioned it in passing, it's not the latest news. Why, just last night the moon came up like the world's biggest airplane, like a madman's giant bedpan. I said thank you, Howard